So if while we're on the topic of ECW, we really can't talk about the promotion without its leader, its fearless leader, the CEO, the founder, the head of creative, Paul Heyman. And WWE announced earlier this year that they will be hosting WrestleMania, I believe 39 in Philadelphia. As that season rolls around, do you think that Paul Heyman should be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame when WrestleMania heads to Philadelphia? And who should induct him?
First of all, duh. Like, what? Like, Paul is like so important and valuable and precious. Like, if you did not induct him, like wrestling fans would riot. We
Right.
love Paul. We adore Paul. Everything he does with his timing in the ring or with a mic in his hand, or when the mic is not even in his hand. I love this man's facial expressions. He tells a
Right.
story with his face just alone. This man is amazing. He's brilliant. He's been responsible for so many like creative ideas and pushing so many talents, especially when Vince probably didn't believe in them. I mean, he's the whole reason why I care about Brock all over again because Brock kind of became stale to me. At least I didn't appreciate him too much as a kid. But like him being attached to freaking um Brock Lesnar and literally like elevating his career to just a whole different level and making him feel like this monster. And what he did for Roman, because I didn't care for Roman. Like I did not care for Roman. It's not that Roman couldn't talk, it's just that he just needed someone to just kind of, you know, give him that little bit of credibility that we're looking for because he had everything else that a wrestler needed. And Paul just with the way he articulates his thoughts, his body language, his facial expression, the way he was praising Roman like he was a god, and just like the whole side bitch angle he had between Brock
Brock and
and him.
Roman.
That like he's just iconic. He knows how to make someone look like $1 million without even trying. Like
Mm.
he is an oh god, he's just I could talk about Paul all day. He's just I love him. He's great. Um but yeah, I just feel like when people think of Paul, I feel like they want to tie it easily to Brock, in my personal opinion.
Mm.
Could you put someone like Vince McMahon to induct him, I guess? But I feel like Brock just because like he was there for such a big portion of his career. Like he
Mm-hmm.
was kind of a whole reason why his career was like revitalized. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone would have taken Brock seriously because he had all the elements there. He just wasn't a very good talker, especially with him having this high pitched voice and his very intimidating look and body and height and size.
Mm.
Like what he did for Brock is just like insane. So I think that it would be heartwarming for me as a fan to watch Brock just because like he kind of made his career like I it's kind of hard seeing those two apart from each other sometimes.
I,
That's
de- I
just me.
I feel
No
that
one's
for
gonna agree
sure.
with my take because it's easy, but what do you think, Jordan?
I think number one, the answer is absolutely yes. He should be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Paul Heyman is probably one of the only people in wrestling that has multiple Hall of Fame careers in one big career. We can take what he did in ECW alone, that's Hall of Fame worthy. We can take his first run with Brock, that's Hall of Fame worthy. We can take his work of head of creative of SmackDown, that's Hall of Fame worthy. Because the reason why we cared about Eddie Guerrero, you know, I don't want to say his name, but I'm going to say it. Chris Benoit, Edge, Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle, is because of Paul Heyman's creative efforts. Him creating the SmackDown 6 elevated SmackDown to be the number one show in WWE when it wasn't supposed to be. And it also elevated the careers of 6 Hall of Fame caliber talents. I'm saying Hall of Fame caliber because Chris Benoit is not going to WWE, and rightfully so. WWE Hall of Fame, and rightfully so.
I
Um,
believe in Chris Benoit.
huh?
I said I believe in Chris Benoit. I mean, I don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I mean,
Yeah,
I like Chris Benoit.
but
But
yeah,
go
as
on.
a talent, yes. Person, but
Yeah, I get it. I get
um,
it.
but from there, then we could talk about Brock coming back. We can talk about his run with CM Punk was legendary. His run as
Yeah.
Punk's manager was legendary. Um, and to be completely honest, part of the reason why Roman Reigns was ironically was brought into the WWE, the Shield was supposedly a brainchild of CM Punk and Paul Heyman. Or at least that was kind of the way that it was kind of presented. It was like his faction because they debuted around the time that Punk and Ryback were feuding. And yeah, so there's that. So you can take his run with Punk, his run with Brock, his run with Roman, his run as like a backstage creative, his run with ECWs. That's like 5 Hall of Fame careers in one. And the fact that he's still going is phenomenal, is incredible. And I just think that he should definitely 100% be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame because he has had a Hall of Fame worthy career. And on top of that, I feel like the person that should induct him, who I'm gonna go with a different answer. The
Okay.
Dudleys. I think the Dudley boys should induct Paul Heyman. Um,
Hmm.
reason being was because Paul Heyman, I feel like one of Paul Heyman's crowning achievements was the creating of ECW. I believe that the best tag team that came from that was the Dudley Boys. And the Dudley Boys ended up being one of the most decorated tag teams of all time. They won the ECW tag titles, WWE tag titles, WCW titles, TNA tag titles, IWGP tag titles. They are arguably one of the greatest tag teams of all time. And they're also very, very articulate and knowledgeable about the business. And I feel like we don't know where Brock stands with WWE right now. And I think that Roman would be another great choice to induct Paul. But if I think about Paul Heyman, there's just something about that ECW family that he built that's just very, very distinct to everything else that he did. And I think that the Dudleys should induct him. That's just my personal opinion.
That would be so heartwarming, actually. I would like
Yeah.
that.
I
That's
think
not a
that'd
bad
be
answer either.
I think that would be mad cute. But
Mhm.
moving on,